大家好，欢迎来到我们的深刻美国节目。在当前的国际局势中，伊朗的核计划和美中关系成为焦点，挑战不断升级。国际原子能机构负责人格罗西在德黑兰的访问，凸显出与伊朗之间的外交空间正在急剧缩小，尤其是在特朗普即将重返白宫的背景下。伊朗的核野心令国际社会感到不安，格罗西强调，时间不站在他们这一边，未来的冲突风险正在增加。同样，拜登与习近平在秘鲁的会议也充满不确定性，两国之间的紧张局势因特朗普的回归而愈加复杂。美中之间的贸易、科技和人权问题依然存在深刻的分歧，而特朗普的强硬立场可能会使局势更加恶化。而在生活的另一面，社会的幽默与思考也不容忽视。人们在小事中找到共鸣，用幽默的视角看待生活中的挑战和不确定性。这些故事与观点让我们在繁忙的日常中感受到一丝轻松。请大家继续收看详细内容。
The Toronto Star recently reported on a significant diplomatic visit by Rafael Mariano Grossi, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, to Tehran. This visit comes at a time when tensions in the Middle East are high, and the potential return of Donald Trump to the White House looms. Grossi issued a stark warning about the shrinking space for negotiation and diplomacy regarding Iran's expanding nuclear program. The purpose of Grossi's visit was to restore the IAEA inspectors' access to Iran's nuclear facilities and address unresolved issues. Since Trump unilaterally withdrew U.S. support for the Iran nuclear deal, Grossi's multiple visits have struggled to achieve significant breakthroughs. During a joint press conference with Mohammad Eslami, the head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, it was evident that significant differences remain between Iran and the IAEA. As some countries push for action against Iran at the upcoming IAEA Board of Governors meeting, these differences are particularly concerning. Grossi emphasized the necessity of achieving tangible results to demonstrate that mutual efforts are improving the situation and steering it away from conflict, thereby avoiding war. Since the collapse of the nuclear agreement in 2018, Iran has disregarded all restrictions on its nuclear program, enriching uranium to 60% purity, close to the 90% weapons grade level. The situation is further complicated by the obstruction of IAEA-installed surveillance cameras and Iran's ban on some of the agency's most experienced inspectors. Iranian officials increasingly threaten the possibility of pursuing nuclear weapons, which raises concerns in the West and within the IAEA, as the specter of Iran's organized weapons program, abandoned in 2003, casts a long shadow. Grossi acknowledged that, despite ongoing negotiations, time is not on their side. International and regional tensions indicate that the space for negotiation and diplomacy is not expanding, but shrinking, Grossi observed. His remarks reflect current tensions and hint at future challenges. Amid this backdrop, Grossi's visit represents a challenging diplomatic effort. As Middle Eastern conflicts persist and Iran's nuclear ambitions grow, the international community is increasingly anxious about how to respond. The potential return of Trump, who could alter U.S. policy toward Iran, adds to these concerns. On the streets of Tehran, public interest in the nuclear issue is rising. Opinions on the government's nuclear program vary. Some perceive it as a necessary security measure, while others fear it could spark broader conflicts. This division has ignited intense debate, becoming a crucial topic in Iranian political life. Overall, Grossi's visit is not just a diplomatic endeavor but a profound reflection on the future of Middle Eastern geopolitics. In this era of uncertainty, finding a peaceful solution to the nuclear issue presents a major challenge for the international community. Meanwhile, the Globe and Mail highlighted a crucial meeting between U.S. President Joe Biden and China's President Xi Jinping at an international summit in Peru. This meeting takes place amid escalating U.S.-China tensions, particularly with Trump's potential return to the presidency. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan stated that the meeting would occur during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation (APEC) summit, just over 2 months before Trump's inauguration. Sullivan was vague about how Biden's team would address questions from Xi and his aides about the incoming Trump administration. He emphasized the need for stability, clarity, and predictability in U.S.-China relations. Trump, during his campaign with Vice President Kamala Harris, pledged to impose a 60% tariff on all Chinese exports, which could further destabilize the already strained U.S.-China relationship. The two countries have deep-rooted disagreements on various issues, including China's support for Russia in the Ukraine war, human rights, technological competition, and Taiwan. Should Trump be re-elected, the U.S.-China relationship may face even more severe tests than during his first term, which saw tariffs imposed on over $360 billion worth of Chinese goods. In Trump's first term, both nations signed a trade agreement in 2020, where China promised to improve intellectual property protection and purchase an additional $200 billion worth of U.S. goods. However, subsequent studies revealed that China largely failed to fulfill these commitments. The White House has worked for months to arrange a final meeting between Biden and Xi before Biden leaves office. Sullivan, during his August visit to Beijing, held talks with Chinese leaders, including Xi. Post-meeting, he indicated that Biden and she might have their final meeting at the APEC summit or the upcoming G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro. Throughout Biden's presidency, he has sought to maintain stability in the U.S.-China relationship, despite expressing concerns over Beijing's actions. U.S. intelligence officials have noted a surge in Chinese technology sales, like machine tools and microelectronics, to Russia. Moscow uses these technologies to produce missiles, tanks, and other weaponry for the Ukraine war. Last month, the Biden administration imposed sanctions on 2 Chinese companies accused of directly aiding Russia's drone production. In the previous year, Biden ordered the downing of a Chinese spy balloon that traversed the U.S., escalating tensions. His administration also criticized China's military provocations against Japan, the Philippines, and Taiwan. During his campaign, Trump mentioned his personal rapport with Xi, which initially was positive but soured due to trade disputes and debates over the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. After Trump's victory, Xi congratulated him, urging the U.S. and China to manage their differences and coexist peacefully in the new era. In the upcoming meeting with Xi, Biden is expected to focus on curbing the flow of Chinese chemicals used in fentanyl production into the U.S., China's indirect support for the Russia-Ukraine war, cybersecurity, and maintaining military communication. Sullivan hinted that Biden might also address an investigation into alleged Chinese cyber attacks targeting Trump's campaign team members, including Vice President-elect J.D. Vance and Kamala Harris. This meeting represents Biden's third encounter with Xi during his term. The 2 leaders previously met during the November 2023 APEC summit in California's Woodside and had a phone call in April. Sullivan also announced a tripartite meeting between Biden, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, and Japan's new Prime Minister Fumio Kishida during APEC. This meeting serves as a follow-up to the historic Camp David summit hosted by Biden in August 2023, which Yoon and Kishida attended together. Biden has been advocating for stronger security and economic cooperation between the U.S. and these Asian allies in response to North Korea's nuclear provocations and China's military and economic challenges in the Pacific region. Historically, these nations have had strained relations due to differing views on World War II history and Japan's colonial rule over the Korean Peninsula from 1910 to 1945. In another sphere, the Sydney Morning Herald brings a lighter note, sharing a series of personal stories and reflections from everyday life. Yannis Ponos recalls the raucous atmosphere at a rugby league match in Blacktown, with the noise reminiscent of the recent Supercar C8 event. A spectator, bewildered by the sound, asked what it was, to which Yannis cheerfully replied, "That's the sound of the Eastern Creek track, just a few kilometers away." Another quipped that the noise came from the local Coles parking lot, drawing laughter from the crowd and players alike. Richard Jerry from Warunga shares a tale of shattered glass and unexpected surprises. One morning, a loud crash interrupted his coffee time, revealing a dining table with glass scattered everywhere, despite no temperature change or loud noise explaining the incident. Carrie Kiriakou from Strathfield believes that it's not just V8 engines that can shatter glass. She recalls Ella Fitzgerald's 1970s performance where her high C note broke glass, a feat confirmed by the show Mythbusters, prompting reflections on the power of music. Jack Dickian humorously expresses concern for Fran Kirby, reminiscent of a patient named Fu, whose spelling of her name brought a chuckle. F.U. Vicky Marquis from Glebe shares a nostalgic encounter with Gough Whitlam in an elevator, where his witty remark about public service hours brought a smile, illustrating the humor and wisdom of that era. Meg Vella from Barrie aligns with Joy Cooksey's view that Trump-style education could further deteriorate the U.S., while Les Shearman in Darlington worries about local MAGA trends with excessive hype. Steve Hulbert from West Kempsey humorously compares channel-build cuckoos to Airbnb, calling coils the noisy early morning tenants. Tony Moo agrees, noting Airbnb's original name was Air Cuckoo, until radio host opposition led to a change. These anecdotes and insights highlight the humor and thoughtfulness in everyday life. From the chaos of rugby matches to the fragility of glass, from political humor to societal reflections, these stories remind us of the lighter side of life amidst our busy routines.
欢迎大家进入6度探索的辩论环节。我们从正反2个角度对本节目进行辩论，请出我们的辩论高手楚天舒、谢琪琪。
我是楚天舒。
我是谢琪琪。
各位，我们要明白，格罗西访问伊朗是为了解决一个全球性的安全问题。伊朗的核计划不仅影响中东地区的稳定，也威胁着全球的核不扩散体系。历史已经证明，核武器只会带来毁灭性的后果。二战的广岛和长崎不就是最好的例子吗？所以，格罗西的努力是值得肯定和支持的。他试图通过外交手段，以和平的方式解决伊朗的核问题，这无疑是避免冲突和战争的明智之举。
楚天舒，你这样说似乎太过理想化了。伊朗的核计划早已不是秘密，问题在于，国际社会对伊朗的制裁和压力使得他们更坚定地追求核武器作为所谓的安全保障。 就像美国和苏联在冷战中的核军备竞赛，当时的核威慑政策不仅没有带来安全，反而让全世界都生活在核战争的阴影之下。与其说是避免战争，不如说这是一场愚蠢的核赌博。
谢琪琪，你提到的冷战确实是一个警示，但正因如此，我们更应该避免类似的情况重演。IAEA 的作用就是确保各国遵守核不扩散条约，而不是让核武器成为常态。事实上，伊朗与 IAEA 的合作曾经有效地控制了核问题，只是因为特朗普单方面退出协议，才导致局势恶化。现在，格罗西的努力是试图重建这种信任和合作。这是一步艰难但必要的外交努力，因为没有对话就没有解决方案。
然而，楚天舒，你得承认在国际政治中，对话并非万能药。伊朗的核计划不仅是因为外部压力，更是其国内政治的结果。历史上，很多国家在面临生存威胁时，会选择发展核武器，以获得政治筹码。就像北韩一样，拥有核武器后，他们便能在国际舞台上获得更多的谈判优势。这是现实的残酷，伊朗也不例外。与其盲目相信 IAEA 的调停，不如面对现实，寻找新的解决方案。
谢琪琪，我承认国际政治的复杂性，但这并不意味着我们可以放弃和平努力。正因为核武器的破坏性，我们必须竭尽所能来避免其扩散。回顾历史，南非自愿放弃核武器，通过国际合作和信任，建立了一个更安全的环境。这说明国际社会的努力是可以改变局势的。在这个问题上，我们需要更多的格罗西，更多的外交努力，而不是屈服于核扩散的恐惧。
楚天舒，南非的例子确实鼓舞人心，但那是一个例外而非普遍现象。大多数情况下，国家出于自身利益考量不愿放弃核武器。就算有100个格罗西，他们也难以逆转这种现实政治。历史告诉我们，当利益和安全受到威胁时，国家会选择武力解决问题，而非外交手段。特朗普的回归只会强化这一点，因为他以往的政策就已经偏向于单方面的军事压力，而非多边对话。这是现实，而我们需要的是务实的对策，而非空谈理想。
我是评委合理。我想对2位精彩的辩论做出评论。楚天舒和谢琪琪的辩论在探讨伊朗核问题上展现了不同的视角，对于国际关系与核武器扩散的复杂性有着各自的见解。楚天舒的立场较为理想主义，他强调外交与合作的重要性，认为格罗西的访问是为了解决全球安全问题，应该受到支持。他引用历史案例，特别是广岛和长崎，来强调核武器的毁灭性，并认为透过对话可以避免类似的悲剧重演。他的观点无疑强调了和平解决冲突的必要性，这在当今世界尤其重要。然而，他的论述似乎忽略了国际政治的现实，特别是对于那些面临生存威胁的国家来说，核武器有时被视为安全的最后防线。相对而言，谢琪琪的立场更为现实主义。他指出，伊朗的核计划受国内政治和外部压力的双重影响，并且强调核武器的发展往往是为了获取国际谈判的优势。他的观点提醒我们，对话和外交虽然重要，但在某些情况下可能无法彻底解决问题，尤其是当国家迫于生存威胁时。他强调的愚蠢的核赌博以及引用冷战的历史，让人们认识到核武器所带来的不安全感。总的来说，楚天舒和谢琪琪的辩论展现了理想主义与现实主义之间的张力。楚天舒的理想化观点虽具启发性，但在面对复杂的国际局势时，过于理想可能导致脱离现实。而谢琪琪的现实主义则强调了国际政治中的利益至上，提醒我们不能仅仅依赖对话解决问题。最终，伊朗核问题的解决需要在理想与现实之间找到平衡，既要有外交努力，也要考虑到国际关系的复杂性。2位辩手提供了宝贵的观点，让我们对这一全球性议题有了更深刻的理解。
思想先驱报，成为有洞察力的人。华尔街电视特别节目，纽约时间每天早上8点，李奇博士主持。和平评点。
谢谢大家收看6度探索。这是一个由科学家、经济学家、媒体人、工程技术人员合作建立的新型媒体，网友与6度 AI 参与合作完成各种内容，这些内容不能作为任何决策或法律的意见。这是一个新型的试验性媒体方式，我们希望得到大家的支持，修正错误。网友可以参与讨论，也可以向万能的6博士提出你能想出的任何问题。6度世界网址是6度 World， 请介绍给你的亲朋好友。